What is your thought, and what do you think they feel, and all Americans feel about President Obama's newly unveiled flag?
I didn't know he had a newly unveiled flag.
He put out a flag. It's red, white, and stripes, and the blue section where the stripes would be, or the stars would be, it's his Obama emblem.
Well, that's the height of arrogance, and I think it is somewhat disrespectful to us that you would take the symbol of liberty and freedom that the world knows and alter it for your own purposes. And that's one of the concerns that I have, in that you have a person that is elevating himself above this republic and elevating himself above the will of the people. You're there as a servant. You're not there to be served.
Now, a lot of chatter. I don't know if you were privy to this. There's a meeting up in D.C. with members of Congress. Michelle Bachmann called out Secretary of State Hillary Clinton regarding the blind sheikh, if he was going to be released. There hasn't been any definitive answer whether he is or not. What is your take? If there is negotiations to release the blind sheikh, what do you think? What kind of a message does that send to Americans?
Well, first of all, there should not be any negotiations whatsoever. Here's a gentleman that was responsible for a terrorist attack. He has been sentenced to prison for the rest of his life, and there he shall stay, and there he shall die. And without any equivocating, we need to make sure that the Muslim Brotherhood run government in Egypt understands that. Right now, we're not showing strength, we're showing weakness, and weakness is provocative. When you see what is happening to our embassies, to our consulates, the incredible attack that was conducted last week in Afghanistan.
Because of a movie.
It's not because of a movie. It's because of a failure in foreign policy. It's because of a policy of appeasement, where you go to Turkey and you go to Saudi Arabia and you go to the University of Cairo, Egypt, and you offer yourself up in a very weak position. That's enticing to them.
Now, Iranian President Ahmadinejad is scheduled to speak this morning at the UN. Coincidentally, today is Yom Kippur, the second day of Yom Kippur. What does that say about the UN as slating this guy to speak on Yom Kippur, knowing that he's going to probably deliver, if not one of his most fiery speeches against the Zionists, if you would?
Sure. Well, first of all, you have to understand that the United Nations votes 98% of the time against the United States and Israel. The United Nations has become an organization run by despots, dictators, and autocrats more than anything else. And so I really would not trust them to care or have a concern about Yom Kippur or our best ally in the Middle East, which is Israel. So once again, we're giving Mahmoud Ahmadinejad a stage by which he can stand up and look like the little big man and poke Israel, poke the United States, poke Western civilization in the chest. Now is not the time when we should be promoting that. As a matter of fact, I would say that now is the time to have said, we're not allowing Ahmadinejad into this country. We're not allowing Hugo Chavez into this country. We're going to take a firm stance, because when you look at Hezbollah and Hamas and many of these other organizations, they're being fueled and funded coming from Iran. When you think about the fact that Hezbollah was working with Mexican drug cartels for an assassination attempt here in our country, their funding comes from Iran. So when will the American people, when will the world see a United States of America that stands up and not seeking to be liked, but be respected? And part of being respected may be fear.
Now, you mentioned weakness. I'm assuming from President Obama, he's projecting weakness.
He is our leader. He is supposedly our commander-in-chief, and he's not doing a good job.
Has his weakness, has that emboldened our enemies across? I mean, it's obvious. It's an obvious question. He's emboldened. How has it emboldened them, aside from the obvious recent acts of terror? But moving forward, what kind of precedent is he setting now for future generations, or for the next administration?
Well, he's following along the pattern of Jimmy Carter. When you look at what happened with the Iranian hostage crisis back with Jimmy Carter. And I found it very perplexing that Jimmy Carter would come out and say that President Obama should learn from his example and not do anything and see how well that worked out for him. It did not work out well for him. Americans don't like to be seen as being weak. Americans don't like to wake up and continue to see, barbaric people tearing down our flag, burning it, chanting death to us, killing our ambassadors, killing a fighter squadron commander, destroying 6 of our Harrier jets. I mean, the things that have happened in the past, 10 or 11 days after 9/11 of this year, it's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And we have not had any response from the president other than to go to a fundraiser in Las Vegas, go party with Jay-Z and Beyonce, go on the Letterman show, go on The View. Not even meeting with world leaders at this United Nations Summit.